Your body can be your greatest teacher if you just learn to slow down and listen to the messages that it is sending you. And your skin is no exception. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and the messages that it carries can be super potent to understanding who you are and the life that you're living. And so I have a lot to say about skin because my skin is one of the ways that my body talks to me most often. So your skin, think about again, what does your skin do, right? So your skin is how you present yourself. Your skin is a barrier between the world and you. So your skin can protect you. Your skin can talk about how you show up in the world, like how people perceive you, what you're willing to show of yourself to others. And your skin, I have found ultimately has to do with separation, right? So it's what separates you and your energy from the rest of the world, from people, whatever. So there's a lot of different ways that that can show up in messages. There's a lot of different ways that that can show up being interpreted for you. And then it also depends on what's happening on what part of the body, where it's happening. Is it a rash? Is it eczema? Is it, uh, oh my God, I can't think, psoriasis, right? So there's all these different things that can happen with the skin: boils, warts, acne. Oh, the list goes on and on. All right. So I'll start off very briefly with acne. Acne has to do with the way that you show up, right? The way that people see you and how you feel about yourself. Depending on where the acne is, tells you even more. If it's on your face, that's like the first thing people see when they meet you, right? Your face. And so it has a lot to do with your confidence and how other people perceive you. And then if it's even like cystic acne, it can be little bits of anger coming up in the way that you are being perceived. Um, if it's on your back, it can be like quite literally people, like you want people to get off your back about the way that you're showing up. And again, the little cystic, the cyst, little bits of anger or resentment even. So there's always some kind of emotion behind what's going on. Okay, so then if it is psoriasis, that is like a two-layered kind of message, right? So the skin is also the way that we perceive touch, the way maybe we receive love, the way we maybe love ourselves. And so the psoriasis is when you want to receive that love, but there's also this kind of need to protect yourself from the person that you want the love from, right? Because psoriasis creates this kind of thickening of the skin, this like irritated, thick barrier or protection or scabbing, right? There's this need to be protected from the person that you are craving love from. And then again, where on the body it shows up gives you even more of a message. So if you're having psoriasis or eczema or rashes or whatever on the outside of your body, so your back, your the outside of your arms, right? Are you trying to kind of like keep people away, like elbow them away? Are you protecting yourself from the back, that these people are trying to like come at you? If it's in on the inside of your body, so the inside of your arms, your chest area, stomach, inner thighs, that area, that is usually wanting that type of intimate love and affection. The arms are for holding and embracing, right? So is there someone that you want to embrace but are having a hard time for whatever reason? Again, like feeling that need to keep them away from you. It could be a toxic parent, partner, child. It really just depends on what you're experiencing personally. Eczema is normally about a separation of some sort. So, feeling separate from a parent, a loved one, a spouse, yourself, God, the universe, a pet. Did I say that? A pet. Notice when these things happen. I actually, this is so crazy. So, our pets mirror our experience, right? So they also tend to carry what we can't or what we don't have the capacity for in that moment. I work part time at a veterinary hospital, and I had a woman come in a while ago with her dog, and the dog had this crazy, horrible rash all over its body. And she said that the rash wasn't there. She dropped it off at a friend's house for like a month. And when she came back, the dog had this rash all over its body. And that's what happens. It's separation. And these kind of, if you've ever dived into German New Medicine, they're biological laws. The way the body responds is the same for everyone. And that goes for plants and animals and people. We all are governed by the same biological laws. So it's not like it may happen, it's like this is what happens. So, anyway, that's a very interesting tangent or rabbit hole that you could certainly go down, German New Medicine. But anyway, back to skin and separation. So, yes, eczema is about separation. And it's really important to understand when you're dealing with any of these kind of messages from the body to understand what's happening so that you can begin to change it. Sometimes it's as easy as telling yourself a different story, right? Maybe you feel like there's a part of you that feels separate from yourself. So maybe it's all you have to do is become more present, whether that's sitting with yourself, meditating, self-care, doing some yoga, sitting in nature, going for a bike ride, taking a drive, like whatever, just spending some time with yourself. It could be a little bit more difficult. It could be, maybe you feel separate from a lost loved one or someone who has passed. But again, there's a perspective shift that might need to take place. And so sometimes it can be as easy as telling yourself a different story. Sometimes there are actual physical changes that need to be made. But a lot of times it can just be awareness. Once we have the awareness of something, it can start to change very, very quickly. If you allow it, sometimes that's all you have to do. Understand, uncover the root, have the awareness, make different decisions, and allow it to change. It's when we think that like we have the awareness and then we continue to make the same decisions over and over again, the body's going to keep sending us the same message. We're going to keep learning the same lesson until we change. Also, the skin can have past life messages or holding on to energetic patterns from past lives or ancestral type things, because the energy, the cells in your body carry energy, and that energy is passed down. And that's why there is like familial trauma or patterns. We're holding on to this energy, and we just need to kind of, again, become aware of it so we can make different decisions to change our experience. And I'm not always saying that those decisions are easy. It can be very difficult to overcome things like fear and resentment. I mean, I'm not saying it to be like, oh, yeah, just make a different decision. And then I am also saying, like, yeah, just make a different decision and then deal with the emotions that come up from it. And it's so funny. I'm getting like an itching in my left ear, and I'm kind of wondering what that means. Anyway, so make different decisions and feel the feelings that come up when you make those different decisions. The skin, the past life things, ancestral things, past life things. I've actually had 3 very intense. So, like I said, my body speaks to me through my skin. 3 very intense past life experiences that were reflected in my skin. And I will talk about that right now. So, okay. When I had my first qhht session, I was shown a life where I was a shepherd, like in the Middle East, I'll say. Like, I was a man, I had brown skin. I remember looking down at my feet and feeling very like awkward that I had these like big hairy brown feet. But I was in the middle of a desert, and I became separated from my animals, and I lost my animals in the desert. Not only did I lose my animals in the desert, I died in the desert from, who knows, I don't know, starvation, dehydration, or whatever. But I could see myself being burned by the sun. So a lot of times the skin carries past life energy of being burned, especially when you're like born with something. It can also be separation in the womb, because that's a thing that can be, I mean, think about it. As a little baby, like, you're in this beautiful, like, serene kind of water, quiet space, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, you're out in the birth canal in a hospital with bright lights and like doctors and everything, and they're shoving shit all over. I mean, that can be traumatizing, but we don't often think about that separation from our mother. Anyway, so another past life experience that I had. So one time, in more recent years, when I was allowing my body to really talk to me through the skin, because what I've also found is anytime that I cover up the flare of eczema, when I cover it up with steroids, I don't learn anything, and it comes up again, most of the time, that much worse. When I allow it to do its thing and have the flare up and support my body as best I can without suppressing it, I learn a shit ton of shit. So this one time, I was having one of those flare ups where I was just doing my best to let it do its thing so that it would heal naturally and fully go through the cycle of whatever it is it was trying to do. And I remember describing it as feeling like I was on fire. And I just kept saying, I was like, God, I feel like my body's on fire. And I just kept, that was the thing. It was just like, that's what I just kept saying. And I was talking to my brother, and he says, why don't you do this stuff on yourself? And I did. So I did a past life regression on myself. And I was shown a life where I was burned for having knowledge. I think that's what it was. But I was certainly burned. And I feel like, oh gosh, I don't even remember the lesson at the time, but I remember it being very pertinent. And so I asked my guides and my higher self to please lessen the pain that I was experiencing. And they said that they would by like 85%, and that the rest of it would kind of slowly trickle out after that. And it did. It did. They did lessen it significantly. And it did begin to clear up. There was, gosh, I wish I remembered it now as I'm talking about it. There was definitely some kind of lesson that needed to be shown to me at that time that I needed to understand about myself so that I could kind of more easily move through this crazy eczema experience. Um, I've had a lot of lives on earth. And I've also been told that this is one of, or that this is my last life on earth. So it's really, from what I understand, an opportunity to shed a lot and to work through a lot and experience a lot. And that can be one of the reasons why my body likes to speak to me through my skin, because there's a lot of shedding and releasing going on. Um, and the eczema, I feel super layered. There were times that I felt separate from myself. There were times I felt separate from God. There were times I felt separate from my dad. Times I felt separate from my partner, from my animals. I mean, it really like I noticed after really digging into the skin and eczema that separation was really a theme throughout most of my life. Beginning with being really little and being taken out of a school that I loved and then put in a different school. So separation has been a theme. And so it's no surprise to me that my body speaks to me through my skin. With that being said, your body is speaking to you if you have rashes, if you have eczema, if you have psoriasis, um, even poison ivy. I feel like not everybody who touches poison ivy gets poison ivy. So when you get it, it's trying to tell you something. We think that these things are coincidental, but they are not. There is always a deeper message and meaning behind the symptoms and illness and things that you are experiencing. So let me know if any of this resonated with you. Let me know if you're interested in hearing other things about my eczema journey, because I certainly can share a lot about it. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. Let me know if this resonated. Let me know what your body says to you when you start to tune in and listen. And don't forget to subscribe for more messages from the body.